Hello everyone, Kathy here. Welcome to my channel, Yoga by Kathy. Today's practice is a 60-minute beginner's yoga for working out the entire body. So we're going to go through some basic movements and postures from seated to standing and also incorporating some balance. So for this class, you might want to use a couple blocks as well as a strap. And remember, all of the instructions are meant to be a guidance. So make sure as you're moving through your practice, you're listening to your body and taking the right modifications and adjustments that works best for you. So let's get started. Whenever you're ready, gather your props and I'll see you on the mat. So when you're ready, we're going to come into easy pose. Take a block, slide it underneath your sit bones. We're going to allow our sit bones to be a little bit higher than our hips. Rolling the shoulders up and back a few times, taking some shoulder rolls, drawing the shoulders up to the ears. And as you exhale, pull the shoulder blades down. And let's try the other way. Roll the shoulders up and forwards. Opening through the upper back and coming to center. Let's take a moment here to find stillness, grounding through the body. Palms can come down or bring the palms to open, taking the thumb and index fingers together. Breathing here, taking a few deep breaths in and out through the nose. As you breathe in, allow your belly to expand, lifting up into the rib cage. And as you exhale, breathing out fully and completely. And we'll place one hand over the belly, one hand over the heart. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. On the inhale, feeling your chest rise, belly expand. And as you exhale, slowly release the breath, breathing out through your nose. Start to find a natural rhythm to your breath, breathing not just in our chest, but taking the breath all the way down into the pit of the stomach. So we'll take a few more breaths here to establish our breath, establishing the pace of breathing that will guide us through the next 60 minutes of our practice. Using this breath to guide us through physical movements, keep our mind and body connected and free of distractions from anything outside of our mat this afternoon. And we'll take 3 more deep breaths. So use these next 3 breaths to set up for your practice, finding that pace, that rhythm of breath that will take you through the physical practice this afternoon. And let's slowly inhale, opening up the eyes. Coming off your block, we'll place it off to the side. We can switch the cross of our feet, bring the back foot forward. We'll take an inhale, reach the arms up. Let's interlace the fingers, turn out the palm, inhale, start to extend through your elbows, press up, reaching up through the hands. Taking a breath in here. Exhale, release, place the right hand down onto the floor, or you can place your hand onto a block. Let's exhale, start to tip over towards the right side. Continue to rotate this top shoulder back and open. Active fingertips, stretching towards the right side of the room. Let's inhale all the way up. Come into a seated twist, placing your left hand back. Right hand comes to the outside of the right leg. As you breathe in, sit up tall. As you exhale, start to twist, grounding down through your sit bones. Start to rotate through the base of the spine, through the mid-back, and maybe neck. Looking past your back shoulder if that feels comfortable. Keeping your right hand onto this leg. Let's inhale, come back to center. Maintain the grip here. Inhale your left arm up. Exhale, we bow one more time, using your leg to add a little bit of resistance as we stretch into the side, into the obliques. One more breath. And let's release. Inhale, coming back up to center. And we'll switch sides. You can place the block over to the left. And we'll breathe in. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, dropping the bottom hand down. Palms onto the floor or onto a block. And we'll extend, reach the top hand up overhead. Inhale all the way up, and we'll switch sides. Right hand back, left hand to the outside. Breathe in, ground down through your sit bones, sit tall. Exhale, start to twist, wring out the back, wring out the spine. Holding on to the leg with the left hand, we'll inhale, bring the right arm back into center. Exhale, tip over towards the left side, deep stretch into the obliques. And let's inhale all the way back, coming up into center. Remove the props off to the side, coming up onto hands and knees. So coming into kneeling position, we're going to take the knees hip distance apart. Right foot will step out to the side. Place a block to the inside of that right leg. Finding balance here in gate pose. Breathing in, we'll take the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, dropping the hand down onto the shin or onto a block. Start to lean over towards the right side. On the next breath in, we come all the way up, taking the hand down onto the floor, lifting up through the opposite leg, stretching out into a side plank. Continue to reach actively through your foot, through the fingers, finding some strength here. On the exhale, we're going to pull the elbow in towards the knee. Inhale, kick and extend. Exhale, finding a bit of compression through the obliques, pull the knee in. And let's do 3 more. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale to extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. And slowly plant the foot down. Let's come to center. Pull that right leg in, left foot out to the side. Let's come up and try again on the other side. So you can move your blocks over to the left. Make sure your hips are stacked over the knees. Foot is flat, point the toes down. Inhale, let's take the arms up. On the exhale, we tip over to the left side onto your shin. Hand comes to the floor or a block. Lifting up through the chest, reaching the hands over, actively reaching towards the left side of the room. On the next breath in, we come all the way up, dropping the hand down onto the ground. Extending through your top hand, through the top leg, finding a plank. Staying balanced here, shoulders, elbows, wrists stacked together. You're taking the weight even in the joints. Now on the exhale, we're going to pull the knee in towards the elbow, compress through the left side of the body. Inhale, kick to extend. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pull it in. 3 more with your breath. Inhale to extend. Exhale, compress. Last time. And dropping the foot down, bring it back into center. And we'll come over into a table position on our hands and knees. So allow the hips to stack over the knees. Shoulder, elbows, wrists align with each other. Now we'll move in for some cat and cows. So on the inhale, we're going to let our belly sink down. Tailbone tucks and lifts. Gaze towards the sky. Exhale, start to press the floor away, chin towards your chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Exhale, chin to chest. Dropping the belly, spinal extension. Exhale, spinal flexion. Press the floor away, spread through the shoulders. Closing the eyes here, we'll flow for a few more cycles, moving with your breath. Finding one more cat-cow tilt. And we'll come back to center in a neutral spine. We'll take an inhale, press into your hands. We'll kick the right foot back. Start to extend through the toes. Pull up through the belly, keeping the core steady. On the exhale, we're going to step the foot forward in between the hands. Coming up onto fingertips. Or come up onto your blocks into a low lunge. Begin to breathe into the hips, into the hip flexors. You can come up higher onto the blocks. Try to relax the shoulders, keep the chest lifted. Crown the head lifting up. Spine stays long. And we'll release the hands down. Take the hands to the floor, curl the toes, lift the knees, we'll step back into our table position. Switching sides, grounding down through your hands, find balance. Pick up that left leg, point the toes. Step it forward to the top of the mat, coming up onto your fingertips. Or you can come up onto blocks, finding support here. Front knee stacks over the ankles, so keeping your joints aligned. Relaxing the shoulders back and down, chest lifts up high. I'll take one more breath here. And slowly release the hands down. Curl the toe, lift the knees. Coming back into our table position. Tucking the toes under, heel starts to lift. We're going to press into the palms, spread the fingers, lift the hips up and back into our first downward facing dog of practice. So in downward facing dog, our fingers are spread, thumb is pointing inwards, index and middle fingers pointing towards the front. Your knees can stay bent. See how it feels to put out the feet as you drop one heel down and lift the other. Sit bones are lifting up towards the sky, chest dropping down towards the floor. We're going to look forward, step your feet to the top of the mat. Draping forward, grabbing for opposite elbows. Bring a slight movement to the body, side to side. And let's reach back, interlace the fingers or grabbing onto your wrists or forearms. Or if you have a strap, we're going to release the arms up overhead, gently stretching and opening through the shoulders. Give your head a nod up and down a few times. And slowly release. Let's press down into our feet to come all the way up. Inhale, big breath in, sweep the arms up overhead, hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, take the arms all the way up. As we exhale, we're gonna fold from the hip crease, coming down. Try to maintain a flat back as you fold. Hands to your shins, look forward, coming up into a halfway lift. Lifting up through the chest, keep the gaze forward. Exhale, place the hands down, step back into a high plank. Bring the knees down to the ground. We're gonna look forward, shifting forward until our shoulders are past the wrist. As we exhale, chin, chest comes down to the ground. Press into your hands to lift the chest forward and through, cobra. Dropping the shoulders, lifting up through the heart. Exhale, we lower. From here, walk your hands out a little bit wider than the mat, allowing your elbows to point up 90 degrees. We're gonna come into a few cobra flows to release the front of the body. So onto your fingertips, let's take an inhale to lift the chest. And exhale, slinky back down. With the breath, inhale, press into the fingertips, peel the chest off the floor, lift and breathe. And exhale, lowering down. Begin to move with your breath. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, lower. Breathing all the way into the abdominals, into the belly. We'll do this one more time. Inhale, lift, come up. And exhale to lower. Take the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing up through table and downward facing dog. Dropping the chest, lift the sit bones. Gaze forward, step, hop, or walk the feet together to the top of the mat. Inhale, breathe in halfway. Exhale, start to fold. Press down to the feet. Inhale to reverse swan dive. Come back up to stand. Inhale, the hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale to a halfway lift. Hands on the floor or on your shins. Keep the gaze neutral. Place the hands down to the ground. We'll step back into our high plank. We'll bring the knees, chin, chest to touch. And inhale, slinky the chest through cobra. Coming back down to the floor, through table, and lift into downward facing dog. Take the gaze forward, step, hop, or walk the feet to the top of the mat. Breathing in, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Press down to the feet. Let's reverse swan dive. Take the hands all the way up overhead, hands together. And exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a breath or two here. Noticing the pace of our breathing. Finding length in our breath. We're going to take a big step to the back, keeping your right foot forward, left foot comes back. Allow the foot to pivot in. So heel pointing in, toes slightly out on an angle. Touching your hands to your hips, we're going to turn a few times to the right. So twist, 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 hip bones. Feeling your hip bones are pointing forward towards the front edge of the mat. Breathing in, continue to bend through your front knees, sweeping the arms at warrior one. Gaze comes up towards your fingers. Hands can come together or keep the hands slightly apart. If you have tight shoulders, we're going to keep the hands open and turn the pinkies in, spinning the fingers towards each other. Continue to open up through the shoulders and the upper back. Slowly at the end of your next breath, release. Catching your hands to your hips, we're going to straighten out the right leg. Take a half step in with the back foot. Setting up for a runner stretch or pyramid pose. So reach for your blocks if you need. We're going to come into a hamstring stretch for the right leg here. So breathing in, lift up through the heart. As we exhale, we're going to tip forward from our hips. So back stays flat. Crawl the hands down to the front leg or reach for your blocks. So try to maintain a parallel between the front of the mat and your hips. Drawing that left hip forward, pulling the right hip back, keeping it squared. Extended leg stays slightly bent. You can stay on blocks or come down onto the floor, dropping your chest forward, encouraging the chin to come down towards the shin. Slowly at the end of your next breath, let's inhale, look up. Exhale, catching your hands to your hips, press into your feet. Let's come all the way up to stand. And we'll switch sides, stepping back to the top of your mat. This time, left foot stays forward. Take a big step back with your right foot. Allow your right foot to come onto a 45-degree angle. Hands to your hips. We're going to twist a few times towards the left side to get our hip bones to face the top edge of the mat. Bending to your front knee. When you're ready, inhale, reaching the arms up, sweep the hands up together. Palms can press if your shoulders are quite open. If your shoulders are tight, we're going to keep the hands separated. Spin the pinkies in to face each other. Continue to open through the upper back. Lift up through the fingers, through the elbows. And slowly we'll release. Take the hands to our hips. Straighten out your left leg. We're going to step the back foot forward. So closing up the distance between both feet. Make sure our hips are still square to the top of the mat. Let's take a deep breath in. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, come into our pyramid pose or runner stretch. Lean forward over this left leg. Hands can catch a block. One on each side for balance. Or placing the hands down onto the floor. If your hamstrings are feeling pretty open, micro bend the standing leg. If there's room to go deeper, we start to fold forward, dropping our chest, dropping the shin. Bring the forehead down, gaze down. Slowly release. Inhale, let's come up. Catching the hands to the hips, let's come all the way up. And we'll step back to the top of our mats. Keeping the right foot forward, we'll take a big step back. Up onto the toes, keep the heels lifted. So in long stance, allowing your front knee to come over the ankle as you bend, high crescent lunge. So we're going to prepare for this strong standing balance. So you'll really feel it in your legs and the quads. Back heel stays lifted. We're going to lift up through this left knee. Exhale, press the heel back. So keep this left knee lifted away from the floor. Inhale, reaching the arms up, staying strong through the legs. Reaching up through the elbows, through the fingertips. And let's drop the back foot down, opening up into warrior two. Allow your back foot to come flat on the ground. Left foot is parallel to the back edge of your mat. Reaching your arms in opposite directions. sinking a few times into your hips. So add a little bounce to your lower body, bending the knee and straightening. When you're ready, we're going to come into our warrior two stance. Front knee over the ankle. Now we're going to take our hand to the inside of that knee and gently guide it open towards the baby toe. So you want to avoid the knee collapsing inwards. Help the knee to stay open. Knee tracking towards the pinky toe. Gazing softly over the front middle finger. At the end of your next breath, slowly straighten this right leg, triangle pose. So both legs start with knees extended. We're going to reach the right hand forward, left hip comes back. When you can't reach forward anymore, tip from the hip, revolve the hands in opposite directions. This bottom right hand can come down to the ground if you can reach. Place a block to lift the floor. If you find that you're compromising by dropping the top shoulder, come down to the ground, this is where a block can help to keep our shoulders open. So shoulders stacked on top of shoulders, hands reaching away from each other. If your neck feels comfortable, go ahead and look up towards the top thumb. One more breath here. And slowly release, gaze down to the floor. We're gonna walk ourselves to face the long edge of your mat. So pivot your feet. So we're facing the long edge. Hands come down onto the floor, onto a block. We're gonna take an inhale to lift up halfway, flatten your back. As we exhale, keep a slight bend through your knees as we come into a wide-legged forward fold. Walk the hands back. You can take your block with you. Drop the head onto the block. So the wider apart your feet are, the closer we're going to come to the floor. If you're not feeling a lot of sensation through your hamstrings, walk your feet in closer together. Give the backs of your leg a bit more stretch. Hands are in line with your feet. Chest is dropping, head is dropping. Taking one more breath. Slowly inhale, look forward, walk the hands out, breathing in. Exhale, we're going to turn to face the back, coming into our high crescent lunge. So bounce a few times into your hips. Make sure your stance is long enough so that as you bend, front knee comes over the ankle and your back knee is lifting, heel pressing towards the back of the room. Let's inhale, find your balance, keep the arms up high. Staying strong, maintaining the breath. Inhale, let's lift up. Drop the right foot down. Right foot is parallel to the top edge of your mat. Left toes will be pointing to the other side. Bouncing a few times. Releasing the inner thighs, the adductors. Stretching into the lower body. Start to prepare for warrior two by reaching the hands out in opposite directions. We're going to allow the hip to sink down. Front knee comes over the ankle. We want our shoulders to be directly over our hips. So if you find that you're tipping forward, we're going to bring the shoulders back, maintaining that perpendicular line through the body. Softening the shoulders, softening the hips. And we'll slowly release, straighten in this left leg, triangle pose. So we'll start with both knees extended. We're gonna take a breath in. On the exhale, stretching forward, left fingertips reaching towards the left toes. Tilting from your hips, we're gonna drop the hand down onto the shin, onto the floor, or place the block to the inside. We don't wanna round through the top shoulder. So pull the shoulders back, lean back against an imaginary wall to maintain the stacking of the joints. Top shoulder stacks over the bottom shoulder. Continue to press into the outer edges of your back foot. Stay grounded through your feet. Try to maintain even weight from the front toes to the back toes. One more breath. Taking the gaze down to the floor, we're gonna pivot, face the long edge of the mat. Again, adjust your feet. The wider your feet are, the closer you come to the ground. So bring the feet to a distance that's gonna give you a stretch through the hamstrings. This time we're gonna grab for our big toes, or the shins, or the ankles. So anywhere you can reach along the leg. Taking a breath in, we're gonna lift the heart flat back. Exhale, start to bend the elbows, so engage your biceps. Using the strength of your arms to pull your chest down, finding length through the spine. Keep the shoulders away from the ears, neck stays relaxed. Elbows are bent 90 degrees, biceps actively working. One more breath. And we'll slowly release. Inhale, look forward halfway. Exhale, we're gonna spin ourselves towards the front of the mat. Right toes forward. Let's come down, back knee drops to the ground. Walking up onto fingertips or onto your front thigh. Take a few breaths here in our low lunge. Top of the head lifting. Breathing into your lower body, into the left side of the hips. Option to take our hands to heart center. Bring the palms together. Stay here, or you take a twist. Bring your left elbow to the outside of the right leg. Palms together, inhale. Exhale, we twist. At the end of your next breath, slowly release. Hands to the ground, curl the toe, lift the back knee, stepping back into downward facing dog. Press the chest down, lift the hips, pedal out the feet as needed, side to side. We're gonna step the left foot forward, in between the hands, drop the back knee down. Slowly rise up onto your hands, onto a block, or place both hands onto the front thigh. Finding balance, taking a few deep breaths. Option to take the hands together at heart center. If you're balanced, you can stay here, or try for a twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. So placing the hands together, we inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, twist. Continue to press your elbow into the outer thigh, wringing out the back. One more breath. And slowly release, coming back to center. Curl the toe, lift the knee, we'll step back into downward facing dog. Bring the knees to the ground, big toes together. Walk your knees to the edges of the mat. We're going to take a few breaths in wide-legged child's pose. Press your hips back towards the heels. Block can come underneath the chest or underneath the forehead. Taking a moment to reconnect with the breath. At the end of your next exhale, slowly look up, rocking forward, remove the blocks. Bring the knees back into center. Curl the toes, lift the hips, and we'll lift back into downward facing dog. And let's look forward, step the feet to the top of the mat. Take an inhale, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, we bow and fold. And we'll reverse swan dive. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're gonna make our way back to the top of our mat, standing tall in mountain pose. We're gonna come into some standing balancing in eagle pose. So what we're gonna do is transfer the weight over onto our left leg, picking up the right foot. We're going to make a cross from the knee and then start to sink down into our hips. So see how this feels on your balance. Option to keep this foot on the ground, giving you a little bit more stability, or picking it up. Level 2, see if you can hook this foot behind the ankle or shin, getting a little bit deeper into the twist. So make sure you have the ankle flexibility here. Otherwise, it's not going to feel very good for your ankles or toes. Unhook for balance. Inhale, let's reach the arms out. As you exhale, right arm comes underneath the left, cross your elbows. Grabbing for opposite shoulders to start. Once you're ready, we're gonna wrap the arms around. Try it in eagle bind with the forearms together, palms together. Again, if this doesn't feel good for the body, we're gonna release, continue to hold on to the shoulders. So finding your way into eagle pose, we're gonna hold everything tightly, bring it to the center line. Squat down into our hips, see if you can get in a little bit lower. Breathing here, everything pressing towards the midline of the body. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release, taking a big breath in. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, let's release, trying the other side. So grounding down through the right foot this time. Spread your toes, pressing into the inner and outer corners of the standing foot. Find your firm, stable base first. Now our left leg is going to swing across your knees, and start to sink down. Now we're going to assess here if we can go a little bit deeper. Foot can stay where it is, or begin to wrap around, hooking the foot behind the ankles or shins. If this doesn't feel good, uncross. So we're going to come into the variation that feels good here, reaching the arms out to the side, taking a breath in, arms out wide. As we exhale, left arm comes underneath the right, cross your elbows. Grab for opposite shoulders, and we'll sink down. Stay here in the arms, or we come into full eagle bind, wrapping the forearms together, bring the palms together, drawing the fingers down towards the nose. Pulling everything tightly towards the center line of the body. Taking a few deep breaths. And at the end of your next breath, let's release. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Coming back onto your right foot, preparing for tree pose. So continue with our balance. We're going to shift our weight back onto this left foot. Our right knee is going to pivot out to the side. So if you're brand new to tree pose or just practicing tree pose for the first time, we're going to keep our foot down on the ground. You can slowly work your way up, bring the foot a little bit higher, avoiding the knee joint, so not pressing here, but below or above the knee. Placing the foot down, hands together at heart center. Taking a moment to breathe deeply feeling grounded through your feet. Checking in with our breath. Breathing smoothly, breathing calmly. Once you're balanced, take an inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, maybe relaxing your shoulders, extend through your elbows, reaching up through the fingertips. Relaxing shoulders down, continue to extend through your elbows. Option to start to shift your gaze, maybe changing your point of focus. You can take your gaze upwards towards your fingers, or even trying closing the eyes if that feels good. Taking 3 more breaths. And at the end of your next exhale, we'll close up the hands, bring the gaze back down to center, nice and smoothly guide the knee to close. Let's shake it out, press down through your ankles, turn out your toes, and we'll try the other side. So ground down through your right foot, left knee will pivot and turn up to the side. So remember your options, foot can stay on the ground, or you can bring it up a little bit higher, avoiding the knee joint, below the knee, or above the knee. So remember, both sides of our bodies are not always created symmetrically. What works for one side might not be completely identical to the other. So feel free to try a different variation or a different placement of the foot on this side of the body. And once you're ready, let's take an inhale, growing our branches, stretching the arms up high. Exhale, release, fingertips reaching towards the sky. Shoulders down, neck stays long. Option 2, lift the gaze up towards your fingers, or even closing the eyes, testing your balance here. Continue to press down strongly, firmly into the floor, staying grounded. 3 more breaths. Inhale to lengthen, grow tall. Exhale, breathing down into your foot. And at the end of your next breath, we'll close it up. Bring the hands back together, hands down to heart center, and slowly guide the foot down. Roll out the ankles, roll out the shins, coming into an easy forward fold. So slowly make your way there. Bend as much as you need into the knees as we dive down. Hands can come to the floor or reach for a block. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left. Crisscross here. Take a breath in, look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, we bow and fold. Breathing into the outer right hip. Stretch it out. Inhale, let's look forward halfway. Walk the left foot behind, crisscross here. Inhale, let's stretch the spine forward. Exhale, we bow and fold. Slowly release, inhale, look forward. Exhale. Let's press down to the feet, reverse swan dive. Inhale all the way up to center. Exhale, hands together to heart center. And we'll slowly make our way down onto the floor when you're ready. So taking a seat, nice and tall, sitting up with legs extended, ankles flexed, toes pointing up. We're going to take our hands back, palms down, fingers facing your toes. And we're going to bend the knees at one at a time, preparing for a reverse tabletop position. So we want to make sure our feet are slightly wider than hip distance. Hands are behind so that as we lift up, our shoulders are going to come stacked over the wrists. So let's take a breath in. On the exhale, press down to your hands and feet. We'll lift the hips up high, pressing the hips up towards the sky, keeping the chin tucked in towards your chest. So try not to drop your head all the way back. We'll try to maintain a neutral spine through the neck. So if it feels good, you can start to shift forward and back. Might feel good for the wrist to give it a gentle massage here. You can also take the body from side to side, move it laterally. Notice how that feels on the ankles and on the top of the hand into the wrists. Let's slowly release, come back down to the floor. Now, if that felt good, you can stay with that position and try it again as we breathe into this posture one more time. Option to kick it up a notch. We'll keep the feet extended, toes together this time, hands stay behind. So on the breath in, we're going to press into our hands and feet, lifting the hips. So finding your variation, let's take an inhale. Exhale, press down, lift the hips up. Coming into reverse tabletop or reverse plank. Now from here, option to drop the head back if that feels good, releasing the head. Taking 3 breaths wherever you are. And we'll slowly release, come back down towards the ground. And slowly release. We'll keep the right leg out, left sole of the foot to the inner thigh, finding our head to knee pose. Here we can place a block, using the block to support underneath our knees. If it feels comfortable without it, you can allow the knee to drop out to the side. So make sure you're setting yourself up for the most comfortable stretch here. Flex through the ankles, grabbing onto your strap. We'll loop the strap around the arches of the foot. So we're going to flex our ankles, allowing the toes to point up. Take an inhale to lift up through the chest. Exhale, we start to hinge forward. Give ourselves a little pull. Keep lifting up through the heart, crown the head forward. So we're looking for length, not so much folding all the way down. We don't want to compromise the length of our spine by dropping our head too soon. So continue to lift up through the heart, reach forward. And let's release, just allowing your hands to fall wherever they land, dropping, bowing the head. And let's slowly release. Inhale, look forward. Exhale. And let's release that fold with a counter stretch. So taking your left hand back, palms down, fingers facing the back. We're going to press into our right foot, left shin on the breath in. So inhale, press down, lift up through the heart. Continue to press the hips forward, reach the arms back. Breathe into the front of the body, into the hips. And slowly exhale, come out the same way you came in, drop the hips down to the ground, and we'll switch sides. And we'll keep the left leg out extended, right sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Option to bring that knee onto a block or onto the floor, depending on how it feels. So let's sit up nice and tall, sit bones firmly rooted on the ground, grabbing for your strap, looping around the arches of the foot. Let's take an inhale to prep, lifting up through the heart. Exhale, we hinge forward, come all the way down. Remember, crown the head, reaching forward. Keep the spine long, heart lifted. Taking a few breaths here to establish length in our spine. And let's slowly release the hands, dropping the chest, dropping the head, bowing forwards. Slowly release. Inhale, let's press all the way up. Remove the props from around you. Give yourself a bit of space. Now we're going to take our counter stretch. Left hand behind, palms down, fingers facing the front. We're going to press into our left foot, right shin. Inhale, lift the hips. Press the hips forward, open up through the heart. Continue to breathe. Nice opening through the hip flexors, the front of the body. And let's exhale, come up the same way we came in. And we'll slowly release, walk the feet to the edges of the mat. Take the knees from side to side, rotate it out. Nice twist with our windshield wiper motions, giving our backs a gentle stretch at the same time. And when When you're ready, we're going to make our way down onto our backs. Coming down onto your back, let's pull our knees in towards our chest. Reach up, give your knees a hug, rocking from side to side, pressing down through the sacrum, low back. Taking your knees in some circles if that feels good. We're going to reach up, kick the legs straight up and towards the sky. Bend the knees. Our right knee will cross over the left. So make a crisscross through the knee joint and allow your toes to point out to the side. Reaching up, we're going to grab for the shins, ankles, or the tops of the feet, wherever you can reach. And as we exhale, we're going to lie back down, all the way down towards the ground. Drawing the heels down in towards each other. Taking a few breaths here, breathing into our glutes, into the outer hip, in our reverse or reclined cow face pose. And let's slowly release. Release the legs, switch sides, cross the opposite way. So bring the left over the right, or just switching your feet if you have a different start position. So allow the knees to cross. We're going to reach up, grabbing for wherever you can reach. So make sure you get a good hold wherever you're grabbing. So anywhere below the knees towards the toes. We're going to gently draw the heels down towards the floor. Allow your sacrum and tailbone to press down flat against the mat. So we're still keeping our neutral spine in this stretch. Breathing deeply. Breathing calmly. And at the end of your next breath, let's release, uncross the ankles. We're gonna reach up, grabbing for the toes or the arches of the feet, coming to happy baby. So allow the knees to come wider than hip distance, ankles flex, toes pointing up. Gently start to rock from side to side. Rolling forwards and back if you like, along the length of the spine. Give yourself a little rock and roll. Maybe playing with extending one knee or extending the other, or both. Whatever movements you need to complete your practice, feel free to make those movements. And when you're ready, we'll slowly release the feet down towards the floor. Allow the feet to come mat width apart. Hands beside the body, palms facing up. Taking a breath in and exhale to release. We'll gently close the eyes here, preparing for Shavasana or corpse pose. Still a very integral part of our practice, so we still need to try and maintain some breath, mind, and body connection even as we come into our relaxation. Relaxing completely. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the hips. Slowly start to reawaken the body. We'll begin to turn our head from side to side, turning our wrists and fingers, turning out the ankles and toes, and start to move the knees, move the arms and legs. Bring slow and small movements back into the body. I'll take an inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Exhale, pull the knees up. Give yourself a hug, wrap the arms around. Rolling a few times side to side. And when you're ready, let's make our way up into a seated pose. Sitting up nice and tall at the top of our mats. Let's take an inhale together, reach the arms up, breathe in. Exhale, hands together, thumb towards heart center. We'll close our practice today with one breath, share together. Inhale through your nose, fill the belly. Opening the mouth, deep exhale. Breathing out any stale air in the lungs, any residual tension in the body. Thank you, yogis, for joining me today in the 60-minute Hatha practice. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave any questions or comments in the section below. And as always, if you like to get weekly videos, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you and namaste.